Part 30. The little mute's life was stolen, and the wealthy boss comes to spoil him. Author, do you want to eat rabbit head? Chapter 291. Sci-fi rolled his eyes angrily, showing a rare emotion. The last words he said made Fu Wenzi feel relieved. I don't have to go to work there. When Fu Wenzi heard Sci-fi say such words, he took a deep breath and suppressed the excitement in his heart, and then heard Sci-fi speak again. But what you did makes me a little unhappy. I have been exposed to the public eye since I was a child. It was already difficult to get into that department, but now I have no chance at all. I promised them, I promise you. It's okay if I don't do that job from now on. I will be the gatekeeper of the martyrs' cemetery. I can usually sweep the floor there and take care of the surrounding environment. When Sci-fi said these words, Fu Wenzi felt a sense of relief. Perhaps in Sci-fi's mind, as long as she finds out those people who hurt her family at that time, she can let go of everything, and they just think about these things too complicatedly. In the final analysis, they underestimated their weight in Sci-fi's heart, but who would compare with the deceased? The talents of the deceased are the most important. Just when Fu Wenzi thought of this, Sci-fi next to him suddenly turned around, hugged Fu Wenzi tightly, and said, "You are all very important in my heart. I'm not that stubborn, you should have some confidence in me. I will be fine with you, and then our time will be long." Fu Wenzi heard Sci-fi say such words, and replied in a muffled voice, "Yes. As long as he doesn't leave, everything will be fine. He will also hide the evil thoughts in his heart and stay by Sci-fi's side obediently." In a blink of an eye, it's time for the variety show to begin. It's just that Go 11 did not come to participate this time. After all, her current status is not suitable for appearing on the screen, unless she switches to work on the table in the future. So Lu Ziyi was talking on the phone with Go 11 along the way, his tone full of reluctance to leave. Like a clingy puppy. Such emotions reached their peak when he saw Fu Wenzi and Sci-fi, which made him feel even more unbalanced. He glanced at Fu Wenzi and said with a sour tone, "Everyone works in pairs. I am just a lone puppy. You don't know how sad and wronged I am. Also, even Chen Chuo came with his partner, but I was alone. People laughed at me when I was on the show. Don't tell me that I can't hear who is laughing at me when I go back and take a look. The bullet screens are all laughing at me for being single. I won't listen. If you don't come to accompany me on the show, I will be wronged." Gong Xiao beside Chen Chuo saw this for the first time when he saw the usually defiant young Master Lu showing such an attitude. His coquettish tone sounded very natural. "I think I often act coquettishly. Especially since the people sitting next to him were already accustomed to Lu Ziyi's behavior." Gong Xiao was a little surprised. I couldn't help but whisper to Chen Chuo next to me, "Is this how he usually gets along with his partner?" Yet Chen Chuo responded to Gong Xiao's words and stretched out his hand to tug. Because Gong Xiao's movements were a bit exaggerated and the waist exposed was a bit harsh in his tone, "Why are you sitting still and moving around? Look at everyone. None like you." Although what he said was somewhat unexpected, his actions were extremely cautious. "As if you are afraid that your partner will be looked at by others." Gong Xiao sat down obediently, her cheeks a little red, but she was very relieved. What they don't know is that the live broadcast has been started, so that everyone can clearly see what they are doing now. Oh my God, it turns out that young Master Lu is so good at acting coquettishly. He is so cute, like a puppy. So everyone has a partner now, right? Even my eldest son has a partner. Laughing to death, at first I thought Master Lu would become Tang Tang's child adopter, but I didn't expect that Zizi would take over. Zizi is also very cute. Before, Zizi was so proactive towards Tang Tang. I could tell at a glance that he had double standards. I didn't expect that these children would have such a good relationship when they grow up to be so old. It is true that friends who have been friends for more than 10 years can still stay together, which is really rare. Woohoo, show me my electronic daughter and son quickly, they are such a perfect match. Now that the industry in their hands has been put online, it won't be long before all the people can use it. It's so outstanding. Is this the legendary child from someone else's family? Help, how can we let these young men and young ladies come and perform a variety show for us? It seems that the recording of variety shows is not just a charity event, but the proceeds they receive seem to be used for construction expenses in the surrounding rural areas. Wait a minute, what the friend above means is that they just have no money this time. Yes, that's right, friends, this time they are free. Laughing to death, it's free. The barrages are still as noisy as before, but the negative barrages no longer appear. In the past, whenever Tang Tang appeared in the live broadcast room, there would be all kinds of troubles. Things are much better now. Not many people will come to them to cause trouble. After all, let's not talk about whether the Si family can afford to offend him or not. Just because Si-wan was the child of a martyr, she was destined not to suffer any injustice here. Almost nothing has changed, and everything seems to have changed dramatically. When everyone arrived at their destination, they filed out. Lu Ziyi took the lead in choosing a particularly comfortable room, then rolled on the bed a few times with a wave of his hand, shouting, "It doesn't matter to me, I'm already very aggrieved, I'm the only one, and I want to sleep in this room, no one of you is allowed to take it from me." Chen Shuo pulled Gong Xiao and was about to leave. Si-wan just glanced at him and turned around to leave. Their decisive attitude made Lu Ziyi a little unaccustomed. He stood up and looked at everyone's backs, and said in a daze, "You didn't stop me, you just let me choose such a good room. Lu Ziyi, I can't believe it. Lu Ziyi, you haven't hit me for 3 days. Lu Ziyi, it's over, will I be beaten into a bizyxi if I go back with this attitude?" However, after hearing these words, Si-wan just turned his head, glanced at Lu Ziyi, and asked in a strange tone, "Don't you think it's a bit aggrieved that you are alone? Do you still have any problems with us? Then how about I just ask your partner to come over and accompany you?" Lu Ziyi quickly shook his head when he heard this, with a look of panic on his face. "I can't help it, I'm afraid of being beaten to death." End of chapter. The little mute's life was stolen, and the wealthy boss comes to spoil him. Author, do you want to eat rabbit head? Chapter 292. Chapter 292. Just talk in private. Lu Ziyi's expression looked really timid, and his timid look actually made the audience feel less unfamiliar. While he was waving his hands and shaking his head, he showed a bit of the look of following a child when he was a child. That kind of little follower temperament came back all of a sudden. Si-wan's name has changed now. She is no longer called Tang Wan, but everyone still calls her Tang Tang. Every guest present is familiar, but there is only one guest who is unfamiliar, and that is Chen Shuo's partner. Is Gong Xiao. Gong Xiao is not a shy person either. She waved to the camera generously and introduced herself. "Hello everyone, I am Gong Xiao, who I met in school with them. This time I came to this program with Chen Shuo. I wanted to see the scene when they met for the first time. It was quite interesting. The host on the side has been changed a long time ago, and she is no longer the sister Ping Ping she was at that time. However, this host is also from a children's channel and was borrowed by them for temporary rent. She knew that the guests coming this time were of high profile. Even though no one has seen this new guest, the host also knows that she is the eldest lady of a palace family in the textile industry. So in all their question sessions, there were no questions that were too sharp and difficult to answer. Hearing the lady from the Gong family introduce herself so straightforwardly, the host breathed a sigh of relief and no longer had to dig out more secrets. But not everyone is so naive about barrage. They heard Gong Xiao introduce herself, and some of them realized that the surname was very rare. It just so happens that they have a family business in their daily lives, which is the surname. As a result, doubtful questions floated on the barrage. Is this Gong Xiao the daughter of the company where we usually wear bed sheets and quilts? There are so many textile industries. Which textile industry are you talking about? Yes, there are many companies in the textile industry. It's the Gonggaeun Group. Although I know some people are unfamiliar with this company, you must have used their textile products, because I remember that their family started as a charity from the very beginning. It seems that they have given to disaster areas less donated items. Oh, I'm a little impressed by what you said. It must be the company that made tents for everyone during the flood relief period. Ah, I also have an impression when you say that. It seems that their company suddenly changed its production line from clothes-making machinery to tent-making machinery. Yes, it was because of their company's help that many homeless people had shelter from the wind and rain, and they were also given a lot of warm clothes. Yes, this is our local national brand. This is so exciting. No wonder Xiao Shitu likes her. The Chen family is also a very patriotic family. This can be regarded as a strong alliance in a sense. You are right, lots of awards. Ha ha ha. The atmosphere on the barrage is very good, and most of the people regard these children with praise. After all, the contributions made by these industries over the years are obvious to all, and they are considered industries that are very popular among the people. Moreover, these children have grown up watching the netizens, and they can now be regarded as a kind of spiritual sustenance. After all, when the images of these children were first broadcast, the country's fertility rate had increased a lot. Compared with ordinary child stars, they are more popular. It's just that none of these children had the idea of working in the entertainment industry, so they did not continue to work harder to keep the fire of that era burning to this day. But precisely because of this, the filters they used at that time have continued to this day, gradually turning into an existence like white moonlight. So how can anyone be willing to say harsh words to them? Even Chen Shuo's partner showed a little more affection towards her. It's all just love for the house and the bird. While everyone was introducing themselves and getting acquainted with each other about what work they were currently doing, everyone also saw that Fu Wenzi, who had always been by Tang Tang's side, now took care of the details of Tang Tang's life more naturally. That kind of ubiquitous care even made everyone feel a little strange. Well, although he takes very comprehensive care of me, I don't know why I always feel that such care makes people feel a little stressed. Ah, finally a sister found out about it. I felt the same way, and I didn't even dare to say anything. Just now when they were on the bus, wasn't Tang Tang sleeping? Then I saw Zhi turning Tang Tang's face to me, then protecting Tang Tang in his arms, and asking others to keep their voices down. Ah, isn't this just a simple care? How terrible is this? But when Zhi stretched out his hand, Zhi stopped his movement with a look. At that time, Xiao Xiao also wanted to come over to help, but was rejected by Fu Wenzi. He could only watch Fu Wenzi holding Tang Tang in his arms without even looking at them. It really feels a bit scary, like it's restricting something. Well, I think you are just overthinking. They are just on good terms, and Zhi is relatively quiet. I think everyone is noisy, so I don't let these people come over. But he covered Tang Tang's face, didn't he want us to see it? How is that possible? It was just because there was sunshine in that place and I was afraid of waking up Tang Tang, so I did this. Yeah, don't have too many ideas, I think everyone is a good kid. The dense appearance of these words dispelled the thoughts of those viewers who found it a bit strange, and they began to watch the live broadcast attentively. The Fu family employees who were doing emergency public relations sighed silently when they saw that their president couldn't control himself again. Fortunately, we responded quickly and did not let them continue to ferment this topic, otherwise everyone would find out that our president is mentally ill. Hurry up and call the show team and ask them not to always focus the camera on the president and his future wife. Otherwise they will find out that our president is a poor puppy who can't live without his wife. To be honest, the things these kids did when they grew up together are a bit like Master Lou being reluctant to let his partner be like a stray puppy. Our CEO is still afraid of being abandoned even if he is with his partner every day. Okay, let's just talk about these things in private, but don't say them in front of the president. Otherwise our performance will be deducted when the time comes, and it will be miserable. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The little mute's life was stolen, and the wealthy boss comes to spoil him. Author, do you want to eat rabbit head? Chapter 293. Chapter 293, Vengeance. When everyone heard the team leader say such words, they immediately corrected their attitudes and hurriedly focused on the matters at hand. If you want to know the salary paid by the Fu Group, it is one of the highest. Of course, other companies also give a lot, but the level of generosity is not that great. And the best thing about working at Fu Group is that you only need to deal with the things in your hands, and you can flexibly punch out and leave the company. That is to say, these employees have actually not seen their president for a long time. Who would have thought that after seeing the CEO again after a month, he would actually tell the story on TV? It was so laughable. However, the employees present did not care. Instead, they concentrated on handling the matters at hand. Their brother unit, the SI Group, also provided a lot of help. After all, the two families were likely to get married. Sci-fi looked at Fu Wenzi's performance in the live broadcast room and snorted coldly, and said to his mother, "This kid doesn't want to show off Tang Tang at first glance. He is like an evil dragon and wants to put all good things into his own home." Grandma Si has not been the CEO for many years. The whole person's temperament is also much gentler than before, gradually starting to become softer, and there are more expressions on his face. She looked at her son and tried to persuade him sincerely, "It's just an expression of love, so why are you so angry? This is not a show of love. This is clearly selfish. He just doesn't want Tang Tang to be exposed. I swear. If Fu Wenzi finds a way to keep Tang Tang at home and not go out to work, he will definitely try his best. What's the difference between keeping Tang Tang at home and guarding her every step of the way?" Grandma Si thought for a while, remembering Tang Tang's daily behavior at home, and suddenly said, "Do you think Tang Tang doesn't know about these things that you are worried about? People like you who don't interact with Fu Wenzi often can see that there is something wrong with Fu Wenzi's mind. And Tang Tang, who is always with Fu Wenzi, can't you understand?" Even though she understood, she jumped into this cage called Fu Wenzi's prison with her head clear. This was just a two-way run. They didn't hurt anyone. Why can't you let them go on their own? Sci-Hui naturally understands this truth, but he still has some troubles in his heart and hesitates to speak. Grandma Si continued, "And looking at her like this, she doesn't look like someone who would bully Tang Tang. Just let Tang Tang stay with you more. If Nana is still alive, don't you want to stay by his side all the time? If Nana were here, she probably wouldn't like you like this. You, just because you live in the past, always feel that you owe Tang Tang. You have to look forward. His life is not only for us, but also for other people." Sci-Hui did not get any sense of recognition from his mother. Instead, he was scolded, and he returned to his room feeling a little dejected. He took out the photo frame on his desk, wiped it over and over again with a clean wet tissue, and murmured to himself, "Maybe I'm really old, that's why my first reaction when I saw them together was a little panicked. If you were here, you would probably laugh at me. I really wish you were around me laughing at me, rather than leaving me here alone." Grandma Si did not follow Si upstairs. Seeing the blooming crabapple flowers in the garden, my eyebrows curved. The world is prosperous, everything is developing in a good direction, and even the weather at the moment is particularly gentle. In the past, this kind of ordinary happiness was something they could only dream of and never dream of. Now that everything is within reach, how can we not cherish it carefully? The weather is just right and suitable for traveling. She can also pack her bags and go on a round-the-world trip with her old sisters. As for my son who is stuck in the same place and refuses to move forward, let him feel sorry for himself. It's a bit shameful to trap yourself in this room instead of enjoying the beautiful scenery. When Si walked out of his room, he saw an empty living room and the old housekeeper at home talking about the old lady's trip. A little speechless. He could only go back to the company and start dealing with those things. Just when I was dealing with these things, I suddenly couldn't control the smile on my lips and laughed out loud. Very good, Hai Ching Hian was Nana's wish. Everything is fine now. Several days had passed when I learned that my grandma was traveling and my father had returned to the company to work overtime. Si got the phone and asked in surprise, "Grandma, aren't you going to travel with your father?" Grandma, who has always been open-minded, was a little disgusted when she said this. Who wants to take that oil bottle and make mushrooms in that room all day long? It is simply unlucky to have him with me. I might as well go out by myself and join my little sisters for fun, just have fun with Wen Ji in that program group, and don't contact him if you have nothing to do. Si heard his grandma say such words, and immediately realized that the topic of their quarrel this time was probably about him. But grandma said so, and she didn't call her father again after eating. Instead, he silently alienated Fu Wenzi in the program group. Such a move not only surprised the guests participating in the show, but also made the audience become nervous. No, no, are we going to witness childhood sweethearts breaking up in this program? No, Tang Tang and Zhi have such a good relationship. They are truly a perfect match. If they break up, I will never believe in love again. Damn it, what happened? Hurry up and admit your mistake. Don't break up, don't break up. Lu Ziyi looked at Fu Wenzi, who had a dark expression these days, and didn't dare to come up to him to talk. Finally, at the direction of the program director, he took a moment, and after eating, he followed Fu Wenzi and asked softly, "Road. Tang Tang, what's going on, what are you so angry about?" At this point, Lu Ziyi quickly shook his head and denied his problem. You shouldn't. When have you ever been angry with Tang Tang since you were a child? Don't you usually apologize as soon as you realize Tang Tang is angry? Fu Wenzi looked at Lu Ziyi expressionlessly, with a somewhat scary look in his dark pupils, which made Lu Ziyi shut his mouth immediately. Fu Wenzi looked at the contacts on his phone and snorted coldly. Call Siy. The little mute's life was stolen, and the wealthy boss comes to spoil him. Author, do you want to eat rabbit head? Chapter 294. Chapter 294 Live for yourself. When Siy received Fu Wenzi's call, he subconsciously pressed the phone. I also feel that it is a bit embarrassing for me to be such an old person and still see the same level as a child. But he just couldn't bear to let go of the daughter he finally found, and he went through all the trouble to raise her to such a big age, only to be taken back by a little cub who looked ill-intentioned. I feel a little uncomfortable in my heart. But now that Fu Wenzi called him, Siy felt even more guilty. Siy also knew that compared to others, Fu Wenzi was definitely the best choice. But he just couldn't get over that hurdle, which made him feel even more uncomfortable. The phone rang several times and persisted. Siy still answered the phone. Fu Wenzi's voice came from inside, as if coming from a faraway place, and it was a little sincere. Let's meet and talk, Uncle Si. Siy looked at his legs that could walk independently, adjusted his clothes and walked out without saying a word. Siwan looked at Fu Wenzi, who suddenly left the variety show, and suddenly realized why Fu Wenzi left now. But this time Siwan was not worried. She finally learned how to trust others, and knew that the two closest people to her could solve all this. But the audience didn't understand, so the barrage in the live broadcast room was a bit strange. Ah, what does this mean? You can't stand it anymore, should you just turn around and leave? Shit, you guys keep saying that they have a good relationship. This doesn't look like they have a good relationship. It's like they've never been in contact with each other for the rest of their lives. There is a saying that I think is similar. No, 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 is the CP that I hate the most about to be disintegrated now? I used to hate them the most. Well, although I have known for a long time that the probability of hype is high, it is still really uncomfortable now. I finally kowtow to CP so sincerely, but you made me lose so miserably. Help, are they, the children of capital, coming to steal the livelihood of little stars? This love is really in name only. Don't wait, everyone, we will definitely wait for the news that they have divorced, and the things they did today have nothing to do with them. I have seen through the tricks of these capitals. The sisters above really understand. So skilled that it makes me feel bad. I hope the next time I understand it, I won't be here. Even the director was a little surprised watching these live broadcasts. He didn't expect that just such a live broadcast clip would make everyone so shaken. It seems that everyone really doesn't have much hope for love anymore. Just when the director was about to communicate with Siwan, suddenly received a phone call. She looked at the name flashing on it, and Siwan's voice came to her ears. Tang Tang, have you really decided? Siwan nodded subconsciously, but soon realized that the person opposite could not see his nod, so he spoke. Yes, father, I have already decided. Siwan knew that with her current exposure, it was impossible for her to enter the undercover industry again. She actually couldn't tell whether she was happy or sad. If he's sad, it's probably because he can no longer continue his mother's career. If you are happy, it is probably because you can finally live for yourself. The little mute's life was stolen, and the wealthy boss comes to spoil him. Author, do you want to eat rabbit head? Chapter 295. Chapter 295. Oops, it's now part of the play. Siy heard Siwan's answer, sighed, and then answered. Then I respect your decision. Siwan didn't speak for a long time, and so did Siy on the other side of the phone. But the sound of Siy's breathing was still in his ears. I don't know how long it took, but Siy's voice sounded again, but this time, there was a lot of vicissitudes in his voice. Tang Tang, you have grown up. Siwan slowly opened his eyes and his breathing became much weaker. She heard her father who loved her say something. The Si family is about to be handed over to you. I am old and want to retire. Father, Siwan was a little confused about Siy's current thoughts and subconsciously asked, do you want? Do what? Siwan did not dare to ask this question directly and heard the answer loudly that he did not want to hear. She rarely feels timid like this. She only feels this way when facing family and friends. However, the next second, Siy's voice interrupted Siwan's fear. His voice is very gentle, a voice that has accumulated over time, and is much less cold than before. Tang Tang, it's not that I can't think about it, I just want to go out and see more of the world while I can. The world she protects so well is so beautiful and gorgeous. If we don't go out and have a look, wouldn't it be a waste of her hard work? When I went downstairs to accompany her, she asked me if the world had become beautiful and how beautiful it was. I didn't even have a topic to talk to her about. Your grandma also went out to play a few days ago. Don't go home either. There is no one at home. Siy rarely spoke so many words, he was always concise and to the point. But Siwan did not feel panicked because of Siy's abnormality. Perhaps because of the events she experienced as a child, Siwan is very sensitive to people's emotions and perceptions. This ability is even getting stronger as she grows older. She could feel that Siy on the other end of the phone was in a very calm mood, and there really wasn't much emotion when he said these words. There is a feeling of being discharged and returning home. Siwan heard this and whispered, "I'm still young. Can't live without my father." Siy didn't understand. This was Siwan's rare act of coquettishness. So he smiled and replied, "Of course I won't set off right away, but I will wait until you can handle it alone before going out." "Okay, don't think so much." I hung up the phone. "Are you still recording the variety show?" "Fu Wenzi will be back soon." After Siwan listened to Siy's words, he replied obediently, "Okay, father." "Goodbye, father." Then he waited for Siy to hang up the phone. At this moment, the director approached Siwan. He pulled Siwan into the dark and asked in a low voice, "Tang Tang, what's going on between you and Wenzi? Did you quarrel? Now everyone is very concerned about your love life, and you are making everyone very worried." Before the fat director finished speaking, the assistant director, who had always been concerned about the direction of online public opinion, hurried over, grabbed his director and shouted loudly, "Don't ask the director, we have already become a part of their play." Siwan was stunned when he heard such an explicit description, and his face turned red instantly. The assistant director also seemed to have just seen Siwan and said quickly, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just saw you now. I definitely don't mean to bother you, I just thought that next time you have a surprise, could you tell us?" "Surprise? What surprise?" "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The little mute's life was stolen, and the wealthy boss comes to spoil him. Author, do you want to eat rabbit head? Chapter 296. Chapter 296 End of text. Siwan heard this and glanced at the director team strangely. Then he saw the people behind them and was stunned. Fu Wenzi, who had left, came back again. He seemed to have changed into the clothes Siwan wore when he first saw him. Looking polite and calm. He still had a gentle smile on his face, but this time his expression came from the bottom of his heart compared to the superficial emotions he showed to others. The staff was driven away by the director, and even the camera disappeared at this time. They could only leave with their own curiosity. Soon only Siwan and Fu Wenzi were left here. The viewers in the live broadcast room were extremely curious and left messages in Habuliakai's live broadcast room. "No, I am a distinguished VIP. Is there anything I cannot see? I am Tang Tang's aunt. Why don't you show it to me? That's the kid I've seen growing up, why are you so outspoken? Camera, set it up for me. Tang Tang. Zhizzy. Please turn on the camera quickly and let your aunt see how to fall in love. Open it quickly, my aunt wants to see you fall in love. Wow, I'm really curious about how wealthy people fall in love. Are they kissing? Why do they have to turn their backs to us when kissing? Aren't we a family? It's so funny." Tang Tang and Zhizzy make tens of millions a minute, and they even appeared on camera to show us their current situation. They have me in their hearts. Woohoo, I really want to see it, I really do, it feels like there are countless ants crawling inside me. Oh my god, please open the camera for me quickly. Let me see. I have a friend, she is going to die if she can't see this. The director looked at everyone's barrage, wiped the non-existent cold sweat on his head, and said to his old partner, "The mental state of children nowadays is really worrying. Ha ha ha, I heard this is called crazy literature, you can go crazy anytime and anywhere. Change in size wherever you go. The fat director didn't understand, and he was a little embarrassed. He found that many staff members were still unwilling to give up and watch the fun. They also don't think about it, is this excitement only for people to watch? Fu Wenzi's temperament is so petty. If he remembers it, there will be no good consequences. In the past, when Fu Wenzi was a child, people would still have a filter on Fu Wenzi because of his young age, thinking that children could not be so thoughtful. Now that I have grown up, I recall that these were all pitfalls that Fu Wenzi once dug for everyone. They, adults, jumped in without even looking. What a specially drawn route. It is clear that he found something abnormal and wanted to avenge Siwan, so he said he wanted to explore. What else is there to do to help people find jobs? He clearly dislikes Sujiajia and wants her temporary guardian to stand on his side and monitor Sujiajia's movements at all times. There are so many things like this. Now that I think about it, I feel that Fu Wenzi is so good at pretending that it would be a waste of his talent not to act. It's just that, compared to his current achievements and acting, I don't know which one is more untalented. It's true that sometimes fat guides feel sad because of the gap between people. This is really sad. Sometimes the gap between people is really bigger than that between people and dogs. Thinking of this, the fat director shed a lot of tears sadly. I probably really just came to the human world to make up for the numbers. On the other side, Siwan looked at Fu Wenzi, who suddenly appeared in front of him, and subconsciously asked, "You're back so soon?" You know, Siwan just hung up the phone. Why did this person come back all of a sudden? However, Fu Wenzi rarely wanted to answer Siwan's words. He knew that he had gained the support of everyone around Suju, and he was a little uncontrollably happy. So he stretched out his arms to hug Siwan and whispered, "I miss you." In the corner that the two of them didn't see, a red bright spot flashed, and the black screen live broadcast room continued. Hey, no, wait, why do I seem to hear the sound of Tang Tang and Zhizhi? You heard it wrong, the program team took away all the cameras. It should be that we want to hear their voices too much, so we have auditory hallucinations. No, I really heard it. I heard it too. Zhizhi really liked Tang Tang, and whispered there, "I miss you." Wow, it is indeed my favorite CP, it's really awesome. WC, do the two of them know that the microphone is still here? Should know? Should you not know? Do you know or don't know? The staff who were monitoring the live broadcast room saw everyone's messages and shouted, "Walk." This caused everyone to turn their heads and ask anxiously, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What happened? Why are you so panicked? What's wrong, Xiao Li?" The staff member named Xiao Li covered his face and showed the picture on the live broadcast monitor to everyone. This made all the staff present cover their faces, as if they were blind. After a long time, someone asked in a low voice, "So, who among us is going to remind them?" To be honest, I don't dare to go. Woo, I don't dare to go either, it's too fierce. What a great catch, I'm really worried about seeing them on the legal channel tomorrow. It shouldn't be possible, they both know. Siwan and Fu Wenzi still don't know what these people are worried about, but Siwan has always had a strong sense of surveillance. She patted the back of Fu Wenzi's hand and whispered, "They missed something." Fu Wenzi always obeyed Siwan's words. As soon as he heard this, he let go of Siwan, then glanced next to him, picked up the microphone on the ground, and said, "They missed this microphone." The audience in the live broadcast room was a little regretful. Damn it, these two are so sharp, they spotted us right away. There is no way, their work is very confidential, and they have done these trainings. The barrage is still muttering, but there is not much malice. Fu Wenzi took the microphone and turned it off. He held Siwan's hand and walked back slowly. The sun happened to be setting, dyeing the earth red, making it look like a layer of red yarn. Neither of them spoke, and there was only peace in their hearts. The turbulent days before seemed to have gone away, and only time was left between them to flow slowly. Iwan suddenly stopped and waited for Fu Wenzi to turn around. She looked at Fu Wenzi, stretched out her hands, and made a gesture of hugging him, and then Fu Wenzi hugged her. Finally, she leaned close to Fu Wenzi's ear and asked, "When are you going to propose to me?" Fu Wenzi was stunned for a moment, then laughed out loud. "Anytime. I love you from beginning to end. I am fully prepared to marry you. The agreement between life and death is broad, as explained by Zikin. Hold your hand and grow old together." End of text.